Hey everyone, welcome back to the most interactive wrestling show on the interweb. Welcome back to Wrestling with Omer. It is January 12th, 2025. Coming to you live from my various undisclosed location on the East Coast. Guys, we've got a lot to get to today. We're going to be talking WWE AEW. I've got some gripes that I have been waiting patiently, very patiently, to harp on that we're going to talk about today. We're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about a former WWE superstar who released a new video kind of breaking his silence after being fired by the company. We're going to take a look at that. We're also going to talk about the AEW Death Rider story. How's that going? Why do I hate it? And why you should as well. Additionally, we're also going to get into, yes, we're going to get into talking about the big kahuna, that being Triple H. What the hell is going on with his booking as of late? All of that and much more coming up right here in this video. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and consider becoming a channel member as well. Kyle James, friend of the show, is here. Hello, Kyle. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully everyone is doing well. I know I'm doing well. My Baltimore Ravens whooped that Pittsburgh ass last night. 28-14. Not only have we beaten the Steelers now twice this season, but additionally, we're moving on to the divisional round. And if the Broncos take care of business this weekend, oh yeah, we're getting another home playoff game. And if someone else takes care of business, with the Chiefs next week, because it won't be us. We're not playing the Chiefs next week. Not by a long shot. But if someone else, well, actually, I think we could be, couldn't we? There's a possibility we could actually play the Chiefs, right? Because we're the 3 seed. And then, so if we're the 3 seed and it's Texans, Bills next, shit. Well, actually, no, we can't. I'm lying. I don't even know what I'm saying. This is not a football podcast, however. This is a pro wrestling podcast. So, guys, you know the rules. Leave a chat. You want to get your question and statement read on the air, we'll go through it. We'll talk about it. Leave a super chat to guarantee that and help support the show as well. By leaving a super chat, you also make me very, very happy. And yeah, let's go and talk about our first item of business. So actually, yeah, let's start off with this because I do want to get to other stuff later on. But so Odyssey Jones, you guys may remember him. Odyssey Jones earlier this year, or last year, I should say, was part of an angle. He was part of an angle including the New Day. And when Odyssey Jones was originally brought in for that angle in the New Day, we all thought that it was going to lead to potentially him being the next Big E, potentially him taking up that spot, and maybe a new version of the New Day. That didn't end up happening. There were allegations of abuse and other things in his personal life that eventually led to WWE cutting ties with him, parting ways with him, releasing him, whatever we want to call it. He was gone from the company. Now we are learning, courtesy of Odyssey Jones himself, that he looks like he is coming back to professional wrestling. He released the following video on X that we're going to take a look at.
Hello world, my name is Omer, aka Odyssey Jones, and first and foremost, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ, my Lord and Savior, for giving me the strength to get through these difficult times. As always, all glory to God. Secondly, I would like to say Happy New Year, and I wish you all a great and safe 2025. I'm making this video to address the false allegations. These false claims are coming from a party that I used to prior engage with, and I apologize for taking so long for addressing these false claims, but I had to patiently wait to get an injunction set in place to protect my family, my friends, and myself. I am currently taking legal action against said party, so I can't speak too much more on it, but there will be more information to come. With that being said, I would like to thank the WWE for the amazing opportunity they've given me in my life. I thank you so much for bringing me on. I'd like to thank all the coaches that I've worked with over the years for helping me work on my craft and grow as a person. I'd also like to thank management and creative for putting me in a position for success, as well as thank the fans for the support that you have given me, not only today, but all the way back in day one. With all that being said, The journey continues. I'm ready to get back to doing what I love to do. I am accepting bookings in 2025, and I thank you all for your support and for your time. I'm wishing you nothing but blessing and love, baby. Big O out.
Whoops. Anyway, so that was Odyssey Jones. Sorry about that. I don't know why I was muted. Um, anyway, so that was Odyssey Jones talking about his return to professional wrestling. He is taking bookings now. That is happening. And it's always interesting. You know, I brought it up. Wall Street Money brought it up. This sounds like some lawyer typed this up and he had to read it. Yeah, it's exactly what that was. It's always, funny might be the wrong word to use here, but it is always funny whenever you see like anyone from entertainment kind of like say like use terminology like that, because you're like, this is not you typing this up. Someone obviously typed this up for you. That's a legal thing. Real take legal talk. This is not. But one thing that's for sure is that, I think what he's obviously trying to do is ingratiate himself with not only WWE, but the world of professional wrestling. He did not take a shot at WWE for releasing him. He did not take a shot at Triple H. Old habits die very, very slowly. But he did not take a shot at Triple H. He didn't do any of that. Instead, I think the strategy that he seems to be employing here is, I'm going to tell everyone that, I'm filing this lawsuit or an injunction against the party that, accused me of whatever. And instead of being like, man, screw WWE for what they did, screw WWE for leaving me high and dry and cutting me off when I had this major storyline and this major angle, instead he's being like, no, I want back in. Like, this was a clear ask that, hey, as soon as this stuff is all settled and done and we can all put this behind us, I want back into WWE. I want to be a part of the family again. I want my pushback. And he doubled down with that, talking about how he is taking bookings, talking about how he, obviously wants to be back in professional wrestling. And while that's understandable and while, again, innocent till proven guilty, all that kind of stuff, I am not going to speak on this too much because I am not as well versed in this as I would be in other cases. But what I will say is, anytime if you're a company like WWE and you see these serious allegations pop up, you want to do your due diligence. And I think that's kind of what they did by virtue of letting him go. They said, all right, we're going to let this play out. We're going to exclude you from this. We're going to exclude ourselves from you for the time being and see what happens. And if it is found or believed or whatever that he didn't do these things or whatever, then I very well could see him coming back in, because there's a reason why Triple H trusted him in the New Day spot. There's a reason why he was given as much of a push. He was given a legitimate push on the main roster. And it's because I think Triple H saw something in him. And again, that's all fine and good, but the other stuff is like a non-starter for not only like, I think, TKO WWE, given a lot of what has happened over the past year with the Vince McMahon stuff, a lot of the bad PR they've taken, a lot of the ugly truths and the ugly side of professional wrestling from the past like 40 plus years of WWE kind of rearing their head and the chickens coming home to roost, for lack of a better term. Like, I think they look at this situation, they're like, the risk is not worth the reward. It is not worth what they're likely going to get for it, which is probably be dragged for it. So in that way, I just don't think that TKO, WWE are going to, touch this with like a 10, 15, 20, 30, 40-foot pole until they feel like they're fine. I mean, it's the same reason why Brock isn't back yet, right? It's the same reason why Brock isn't back. Triple H can talk and lie about how Brock will be back when he wants to be back. But the legitimate thing is they are not, TKO, WWE are not bringing Brock back for a reason. And it's because they understand if they bring Brock back, at least a significant part of the discussion is not going to be about professional wrestling. It is going to be about how he fit into the entire Vince McMahon scandal. And that is the truth. Whether or not you want to believe that, whether or not you want to be like, well, why would they do that? No one's going to talk about it. Everyone's going to fucking talk about it. Come on. Like that's literally going to be the narrative. That's literally what everyone's going to talk about. And the bare minimum as a company you're going to do if you're WWE TKO, if you're not going to own up to anything, if you're not going to hold people accountable, whatever, the bare minimum you can do is distance yourself from that kind of stuff and at least make it look like you're not having people associated with that specific scenario, that specific scandal around WWE. Bare minimum. Actually, it's even below the bare minimum if you ask me, but it is what it is. That's just what it's all about. Money, right? It's all about money over there in WWE. All about money for any company, WWE, like AEW, whatever, right? At the end of the day, it's all about money and it's all about making that. But we need to stop deluding ourselves into thinking companies are like this great thing that we need to worship. Like, you know how many stan WWE accounts I see where like, ooh, I love WWE, or stan AEW accounts? I'm like, that's cringe. Stop that. We don't know these people. Anyway, that's the update on Odyssey Jones. Obviously, let me know what you guys think in the chat and the comment section. Be sure to hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell. So I got another chat. Do you feel the Malachi Black situation may be a work? No. I believe Malachi Black is gone from AEW, and he is expected to be in WWE. So, again, people may disagree with that. Malachi Black has not come out with an IG live or an IG video yet, countering any of these reports, countering any of these claims. But so far, you've had like Mike Johnson, Dave Meltzer, and Sean Ross Sapp all say the same thing, that he is effectively either done or going to be done with AEW soon, and he's expected to go back to WWE. And yeah, I fully expect him to be back in WWE. And why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he go back to WWE? AEW obviously did not work. It was the thing about, like, you know, Malachi Black, Tommy End, Aleister Black, whatever you want to call him. The thing about him in AEW is like it's something that should have worked, given the way they built him up. Given the way that he debuted, one of the best debuted wrestlers I've ever seen, it should have worked. And the fact that it didn't is an indictment, I think, solely on booking. Like, he's one of AEW's biggest fumbles. You know, I think there's a lot of people who could fit in that category. I believe Ricky Stark's in that category. But it's a major fumble by them. It's a major fumble because... And the wild thing is, not John Moxley, but the wild thing is, right, he somehow kept up a mystique about him that didn't go away for almost like 2 years. Despite whatever bullshit angle he was in, despite, like, you know, Pac, you blinded me, Malachi Black. But besides all of that, he found a way to stay, like, you know, important. And, like, whenever he would show up, it was like, oh, my goodness. All right, something's about to happen, right? And I mean, I think they had a chance with that Adam Copeland Malachi Black match. I think that was probably his best match in AEW. Earlier this past year at Double or Nothing, but again, for whatever reason, it just didn't work. I see him going back to WWE. I think Triple H will definitely find a place for him on the main roster. I don't think he's going to go to NXT either. Insert Vince McMahon smelling money meme. Yeah, I mean, that's what it's all about, man. All about those grants and Washingtons. All right, what else we got to talk about? Did we talk about? I mean, I already kind of gave my thoughts on Raw on Netflix in a video, but I mean, it kind of does fit into, I guess, the Triple H thing. Where do I even begin? That's the thing. I don't even know where to begin with this. If you guys have a chat or two, I can also use that. But No, let's just talk about it. I think Raw on Netflix probably defines the problem that I personally have with Triple H best. And it's that while there are important things on the show, and while there are really cool stories that are being told, the stories in WWE are second to the spectacle. Sometimes even third to whatever's best for business or best for the shareholders. Like, we joke about that best for business line and all that kind of stuff. But the fact of the matter is, Raw and Netflix defined and exemplified that whole best for business trope better than anything WWE's ever produced. That show was not produced for me, the hardcore wrestling fan. It was not produced for the hardcore WWE. Or maybe it was. Everything's produced for the hardcore WWE fan. But it was not produced for, I think, even like the casual wrestling fan. There were parts that were, and you could see that. But in large part, as someone who works in PR and marketing, I can tell you this. A lot of times when you're dealing with corporate parties and you're creating content or you're creating a campaign or any form of an event, one of the things that gets lost when you have so many corporate like people in the same room and all of their staffs and things like that, you run the risk of whatever project you're working on, whether it be an event like Raw on Netflix, whether it be a, piece of media, whatever. It runs the risk of being overly corporatized, and instead of catering to your key audiences, who may be a casual wrestling fan, the casual audience, instead you cater to what corporate people want to see, which is what they think everyone else wants to see. And that's the unfortunate part of Raw on Netflix. We not only had, I had no problem, by the way, with the beginning, with Triple H coming out there. That was great. I enjoyed that. As someone who can view things in outside of my perspective, right, I knew exactly what that was the second they played it. It was a primer for professional wrestling, for people who hadn't seen it, because they knew that non-wrestling fans were going to watch. And that's good. You need a primer. What is wrestling? Or what is the wrestling the way WWE interprets wrestling, right? That's good. You should explain what you do. Say what you want. Breaking Bad, right? Before their shows, they had a recap of what was going on, the landscape, everything. That's fine. We should do the same with wrestling. But the trouble for this show started as soon as Dwayne Johnson walked out. And again, I'm not going to say The Rock. That was not The Rock. It was not the final boss. It was not the high chief. It's not whatever the fuck he wants to call himself right now. It was Dwayne fucking Johnson. Homie came out and said the most overly corporate, thank you, Netflix shit I've ever, thank you, TKO, Ari Emanuel. This segment specifically, this Rock segment, was not for any other audience other than the corporate audience. This was for the people over at Netflix. This was for the people over at TKO. That is just the fact of the matter. Bam, hardcore truth. That's just what it is. You can disagree with it. You can lie to yourselves and tell people this was for the casual fans. Yeah. Maybe the spectacle of The Rock just talking. He could have said anything, and the casual fan would have been fine with it. But not only do you have this overly corporatized, happy-go-lucky, I'm a jolly. He's like Sheamus when he was a face. I'm a jolly hoity-toity. I'm a good Irishman. That's what Rock was, basically. He was like happy-go-lucky Sheamus coming down there, talking that corporate talk about how this Raw Netflix history. Look at Ari Emanuel and Nick Khan over there. Look at who do we got over there? Ted Sarandos. Bella Bajaria. Who gives? I'm sorry. Shout out to Netflix. Shout out to Bella. Shout out to Ted Sarandos. Who gives a fuck, though? Come on. What are we doing here? So you have that, and you know what? All right. I can stomach me some live via satellite Dwayne Johnson of the mid-2000s. I can stomach that, all right? I'm used to it. What happened next is probably one of the worst decisions that Triple H has made. That includes a lot of other things. One of the big things long-term people are looking forward to, have been looking forward to for the past year, has been the storyline that has developed between Cody and The Rock. I've covered this at length before. I'm not going to go too deep into it. But one of the big things was this whole thing about Cody Rhodes is the target of The Rock, because he sees Cody as the real face of that runs the place. He sees Cody as all that. And for him, after beating down Cody in one of the greatest segments in WWE Raw history in Chicago last year, one of the best Raws I've ever seen, for him to go out there and after beating that man with an inch of his life, after pinning him at WrestleMania, all the buildup, all the hoopla, all of the teasing that these two have done. Hey, yeah, forget about all that. Cody Rhodes, that's the guy. Yeah, look at that. Oh, Rocky, I love you, Rocky. The glazing was crazy, dog. That shit, it was crazy. I was look, one of the worst things you can do to any fan, whether they're casual or they are like me, a hardcore fan, is insult their intelligence. And this part of that segment insulted the fuck out of people's intelligence. Because as far as we're concerned, we are in the show. You don't have two intros, all right? You don't have two fucking intro promos. You don't do that. So we're in the show. And you're telling me that Dwayne Johnson coming out there and being like, oh, Cody's the best. I love you, Cody. And Cody being like, haha, nah, you're the best, Rocky. I love you, Rocky. After all the animosity built up, it is, I don't care what anyone says. I know wrestling is fake, people, blah, blah, blah. But you don't see Walter White and Gus Fring, after they're mortal enemies, after they're made mortal enemies, dap each other up, be like, ah, my guy, Gus. Oh, Walt, I love you, bro. No, none of that. No. We're in the show. And you want to talk about like wild stuff, guys? You know what was the most talked about thing going into Mania? You know why everyone was talking about The Rock going into Mania last year? It was the fact that The Rock came out, he cut these insane promos, the rules didn't apply to him, he was entertaining as hell, and then he put the shine on Cody Rhodes with that story they were telling. This insulted the fuck out of my intelligence. One of the worst things about Vince McMahon booking was that he would literally give you guys like he would penalize you is what he would do. He would penalize you for watching the show. If you paid attention, look at his mark. I'm going to get him this week. Oh, yeah, like Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan are friends. He would do some wild stuff that literally made the last like couple of weeks of TV mean absolutely nothing. And then we have the other parts here. As of late, Triple H has gotten super lazy with his booking, too many slow burns, too many dragged out storylines, too many tournaments, too many rematches. His creativity's lost. They always say, you have 5 years. You have 5 years as a great booker. We saw that with Tony Khan. I think we're seeing that now with Triple H. You have 5 years at the top as a great booker. And, you know, like the Rock thing was like an example of this. Had any other wrestling company, whether it be TNA, AEW, whatever, done that specific thing, you would have had a whole lot of people who had their mouth shut and zipped up, talking a lot of talk. If you had a situation where one of those other companies did what Triple H did this past week, completely ignoring the storylines going into it, saying, oh yeah, no New Day versus Rey Mysterio and partner match for no reason, no explanation needed. Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan was built up as a last woman standing match. It ended up being a singles match. Why? Never explained, never touched upon, never resolved. If Cody Cena happens, Cena wins, what happens to Cody? I think Cody goes back on the climb. And we hopefully get some storytelling with him instead of, hi, I'm Cody Rhodes. Whoa, I'm the champion. I think the climb for him back to the World Championship picture and potentially being Cena's last match would be really dope. I feel like Triple H is not a sports entertainment booker. He's booking WWE, which I don't even... I mean, they are sports entertainment, but again, Monday was just... It's one of the worst produced things that I've seen Triple H do. Like genuinely. And I'm not saying produced from a visual standpoint. Visually, it was great. Fantastic. I'm never going to knock WWE's production. WWE has the best production of any wrestling company out there. They have innovative production by any league or entertainment standards, genuinely. That does not mean, though, that we can ignore the content being shit, which is what it was Monday. The content was absolute stinking hot garbage on a hot summer's day in the Sahara Desert. After a camel shit on it. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Barry Allen in the chat. Should he turn heel? Cody turning heel? Eventually he will. Guys, by the way, I see there's 23 of you in here. Shout out to all of y'all. Be sure to hit that like button, hit that thumbs up. Doesn't cost you a dime, and it helps channel grow. We're not going to talk about Moxley just yet. We're going to talk about that later. Frank, I see you in the chat. What's going on? I still don't trust The Rock because he could change his mind quickly in the story. Maybe, but there's no guarantee that The Rock does that either. And if this is the end, if this is the end of The Rock in WWE and he really can't do anything else, okay, whatever. That's fine. They ended it. They could have explained it a little bit more, but it is what it is. Matthew in the chat says, hey, question. What are your expectations on Chad Gable versus Penta tomorrow? I think it's going to be a good match. In a vacuum, it's going to be a good match. I know there's a lot of people who've said, oh, well, can Chad Gable keep up with Penta? I don't think Chad Gable is ever going to have a problem keeping up with Penta. I also think Penta's going to be... You're not going to see Penta do his package pile driver and things like that in WWE. What I will expect to see within his first 3 matches in WWE, Penta doing a million cero miedos, cero miedo. He is going to be spamming the taunt button like crazy because Triple H and that crowd are going to go crazy. And when Triple H hears that crowd go crazy, he's going to be like, oh yes, this is part of our global expansion. We're a global brand of WWE and, the Latino audience. Really, he's going to say some shit like that at a press conference. And, it's going to be like that. It's going to be like one of those things. But it's going to be a fun match. I love Penta. I need to do something with this beard. I'm just noticing. Anyway, I need to do God. I don't know how I got that. I think I expect it to be a fantastic match. Penta is great. Chad Gable is great. They're going to make magic in the ring. Hopefully it's not overly booked, convoluted mess. Will Penta save the package pile driver for big matches, special matches like Gunther? I could see him saving it for big matches, yes. I think Monday Night Raw was set to new viewers. That's why so much stuff was scrapped. But you knew that. Again, I understand that. But it's not an excuse. They knew what they were booking. Some of the stuff that they booked was a week out of the Raw Netflix debut, which they knew. Everyone knew. Come on. That's not, in my view, I understand the thinking, but it's not an excuse. It's not. You at least have to acknowledge, hey, this match got cut because it's such a big show. You could say that. Boom. Done. What do you think of Roxanne Perez NXT Women's Championship reign? I thought it was some of the best stuff that NXT's produced. I think she was the queen of NXT. And I think NXT right now is probably WWE's best program by far. I think it's probably the best thing and the most logically booked show in wrestling right now. Yeah, I think Shawn Michaels right now, if there was like a ranking for like top bookers in the United States, Shawn Michaels is at the top. And I don't think right now, I don't think it's close. I do not think it's close. Shawn Michaels is cooking down there in NXT. And like we were talking about Triple H for the longest time being the guy who had the magic touch. Right now it's Shawn Michaels. At this moment, Shawn Michaels is the best booker, I think, in North American pro wrestling. I got to give a shout out to if we're talking about the world, New Japan right now. I haven't watched the New Year's show, the Battle in the Valley show yet. I haven't watched that show yet. But I expect that it was a really fun show. I've been hearing a lot of good things about it. New Japan right now is on a tear, on a freaking tear. Not an excuse, I agree, but I know the show will be hype. They rushed Punk Seth for this. Punk Seth was the best thing on the show by far. And it wasn't even close, in my view. I think tomorrow will be better than last week's. Hopefully. I'm hoping for it. I expect it to be. And if it's not, you will hear me. The other problem with Triple H as a booker is he played way too safe everybody. Another problem with Triple H as a booker is that he played way too safe. Everybody always criticized Tony Khan. Why Triple H always gets a pass. He needs to be called out and criticized. Well, I mean, a lot of it is because people have an affiliation, an affinity, I should say, with WWE. They don't have with AEW, and I think a lot of it is people are willing to give a lot more grace to WWE than AEW, and I think that goes both ways. You have AEW fans who like do the same thing, but the larger majority of them are WWE fans because it's a more popular product. And that's just it. People are tribal. What do you think about Jeff Hardy's comments? He could have been a bigger star than John Cena if he lived his 20s and 30s better. Yes. I think... here's the thing, right? It's hard to say, right? Because there's that keyhole moment in 2002, 2003 where people thought that Jeff Hardy was going to be the WWE champion. Like, he was like the next guy, He was on that ascent. That Undertaker match that they like to laud as one of the greatest Raw ladder matches of all time. Like, it was genuinely a good match, but like some of the stuff Hardy was doing, like you could see he was being built up for something. Could he have been bigger than John Cena? I don't know, because John Cena was like literally like the one face of the company for over a decade. But I think he could have been how do I put this? Jeff Hardy then could have been what like Seth Rollins is now. And I'm not saying like a direct comparison as a performer or anything like that. I'm just meaning what he means for the company. Like, he could have been a top over babyface who can put into that main event world title scene at any point. And he could have been but he would have been selling a shit ton of merch. So like maybe he would have, like Jeff Hardy was when he was beating John Cena in merch sales in 2008 when he was champion. So yeah, maybe. Matthew Rodriguez, what do you think of this idea for Women's Casino Gauntlet? Toni Storm comes out first and takes a nasty bump, gets held to the back, presumed injured. Final entry is Timeless Toni Storm who wins. That would be the most hokey stuff ever. You know what I think? You know what I think they should do? They like I would like this booking if like Timeless Toni Storm wasn't the final entry, but she gets knocked on the head. She like goes back. And then later on, like after we think all 20 women are in there, she comes back in as Timeless Toni Storm, not as an entry, because I just think like why the hell would Tony Khan give Toni Storm 2 entries? But that would be, I wouldn't like that, but I think it would be cool. That'd be a cool moment. Please, Hunter, for the love of us wrestling, don't give us another Rhea versus Liv match at the Royal Rumble. Yeah, no, I highly doubt that's going to be the case. But if it does, man, people are going to be talking. I'm going to be talking. That's for damn sure. And so should you guys. Guys, you know how this show goes. Leave a chat. We're going to talk about whatever you want. You guys want to leave a super chat that guarantees your question or statement is read out on the air. And it helps support the channel as well. Also, be sure to leave a like. I'm sad Malachi Black is leaving AEW. I was in Miami for his debut. Who do you think AEW can bring in for a dark character? I don't think they need to bring anyone in. I think Julia Hart is probably your go-to for a dark character. I think she does it so well. Her promos are great, very believable, and she's got that mystique about her. I think she's going to be a massive star, and she's only 24 years old or something. Yeah, Julia Hart should be the person. Also, Cope did say, it's time for Brody King to step up, so maybe it's Brody. John Cena was booked like a main event character. I think most wrestlers in that position would be a bigger star. Yeah, but you also got to have the charisma. And while Jeff Hardy didn't have, the promo ability that a John Cena did, oh my goodness, Jeff Hardy could get you out of your seat. He had that innate charisma that you can't explain. Just by, waving his hands in the air, it was infectious. We got Danny... Huckins? Huckins. Danny Huckins. What are your thoughts on Malachi going back to WWE? I'm excited about it. Triple H booked him strong during the Black and Gold. I could very well see him doing well. I just hope he doesn't get lost in the spooky verse. I am concerned that Triple H has a propensity to put a lot of acts that he views as similar around each other. I don't want to see another version of the House of Black get associated with Karrion Kross and whatever that thing is, or the Wyatt Six. But I could see him being I actually would like to see him do what he originally was doing in WWE, which was being kind of like a devil, a literal devil, and being evil and making people do bad things and a cult leader. That could be cool. Oh, here we go. We got the messy question. Are you not on Kiss the Ring anymore? I might as well talk about it. I am no longer on the podcast or whatever, and that was a decision that I made because I'm busy as hell. I literally have a million other things to do, and as you guys know, I run 3 different YouTube channels, and it's a lot of work in my downtime, and I just didn't have the time commitment to, Kenny and Brian, who are 2 of my best friends in this space. Literally text them every day. I literally just texted them this morning. For me personally, I just did not want to commit to something that I knew I couldn't live up to. So I was just I can't do it anymore. That's what happened. But they got Lex over there, guys. They are cooking over there. YouTube.com/Kiss the Ring. After you're done here, go over there and check out that channel. Fantastic stuff. But yeah, no, it's it's not nothing nefarious, nothing like that. It's literally just didn't have the time, and I don't want to lie to my friends and tell them that, oh yeah, I can do this, and not live up to it. So that's what it is. But shout out to Michelle. Yeah, you might see me back on there every once in a while. You never know. But yeah, maybe I'll pop in for a live stream they do or something. But yeah, it's not oh, I'm not friends with them anymore, and literally my best friends, some of my best friends. There were very few wrestlers who didn't need promo skills to get over. 2008, Jeff was one of those people. Yep. Aleister Black returns. I would love him to face 3 people. Give your thoughts on one of them. Obafemi, Ilya Dragunov, Karrion Kross, or Uncle Howdy. First of all, Karrion Kross is who we don't care about. Let's not do that. Shout out to Kenny Baum. But Obafemi would be cool. I just don't think he's going to NXT right now. But Ilya Dragunov, man, I feel bad. Ilya being injured. Ilya was going to have such a good 2024 into 2025. Hopefully he still has a good 2025 when he returns later this year. But I think Obafemi and Aleister Black would cook. Aleister Black versus Andrade will be a funny-ass match, though. I ain't gonna lie. It's what do you do? It's the Spider-Man meme. Who are you? Wait, no, who are you? What are you doing here? This isn't Collision. This isn't Saturday night. Well, we'll see. How do you feel about JD from New York? I don't care. Wyatt Six deserves more spotlight. More spotlight. Yeah, why not? I just, the Wyatt Six did have a lot of potential in the beginning. I just don't think they've lived up to it. And I think a large part of that is just like the feuds just don't make too much sense. Ilya will do a 2008 Rumble return in 2025. Fingers crossed. Oh, he ain't winning that thing, though. As much as I would go ape shit for Ilya Dragunov winning the Royal Rumble, I don't think that's happening. By the way, guys, there's 33 of you watching right now. I appreciate every single one of you. Please, please, please hit that like button. It really, really helps out more than you could ever know. If you're going to do one thing before you even pop out of this, please hit that like button because it'll put a smile on my face. Look how happy I am. So please do that. Yeah. Who do you think has a better women's championship run? Mercedes Moné or Mariah May? Mercedes. I think Mercedes has. Mariah, I don't think Mariah's run has been bad. I think it's actually been good. She's been booked as a dominant, like a fairly dominant champion. I would have liked to have seen her outside of Thunder Rosa. I don't think she's really had a major opponent though, and that's a bit of a problem. I thought her match with Thunder Rosa was exactly what it needed to be, and it was a performance that showed okay, she can go with the best of them in a hardcore setting. I do expect Mariah May versus Toni Storm at Grand Slam Australia, and I would also expect Toni Storm to win that match. Do you see WWE ever being interested in Brody King? Yeah, I think WWE would definitely try to sign Brody King. He did re-sign with AEW, though. Or it was either him or Buddy re-signed with AEW. One of them. But if his contract is ever up, I could very well see both sides being interested. Hulkamania did not go wild. Hey, man, Booamania went wild, bro. Booamania, or as Hogan says, Wokamania running wild, baby. Look at all these woke people in LA booing Jimmy Hart. Yo, the idea of Hogan going backstage and being like, God damn, Jimmy, they hate you is the funniest thing to me. No, Lara, can we all agree Finn Balor had a horrible 2024 from losing in booking? Yep, horrible. One of the most forgettable years of his career. That is saying something. It's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate. Do you know if Double or Nothing is in Vegas? I don't know anything, but I do not think it's going to be in Las Vegas. If I had to guess, it would be a really stupid idea for them to run Vegas a month after Mania, just a couple of weeks after Mania. I don't think you do that. I think they're going to be in a situation where they're kind of forced out of running Vegas, and it's probably a good thing because some of those Vegas crowds were not it. Even I was I went to Vegas for Double or Nothing 2023, and there were 10,000 people in the building, but it was not an atmosphere of 10,000. I've been in arenas where you've had 500 people who were louder than that. What do you think AEW will do with Camille? Not a big fan, but I kind of feel bad for her. ROH bound. I could see her going to ROH. Wall Street Money. Remember when Kenny Baum said Double or Nothing was AEW WrestleMania? And I mean, here's the thing. I'm not Kenny. Kenny was kind of wild because I think that was a genuine take, but when he did it, I thought it was one of those takes where it was oh, I'm gonna get Big Ohm to crash out, because I was what? How? Double or Nothing? How? This not even Revolution's a more important show at this point than Double or Nothing as far as it's presented. All In is definitely their Mania. All Out is their second most important show. Revolution has always had some sort of significant importance to them. So yeah. I felt so bad for Jimmy Hart. You can tell by his body language. He was like, geez, brother, it's not Hulkamania. It's Booamania. Yeah, but Jimmy Hart knows. He knows. He's taking the paycheck. Mariah May versus Toni Storm 3, the final showdown, AEW Revolution 2025 Los Angeles, Crypto Arena, Hollywood, backlot brawl, or dog color. Oh, a dog color match between those two? Yo, Tony Khan. Listen to Matthew Rodriguez. That's a cook right there. That would be amazing. Actually, no, I want it now. Now I really want it because I think those two could go out there and have an insane dog collar match. And like Toni Storm, we know, like I think she's one of the best storytellers right now. Mariah May, when she's put in these positions to shine, like she always does, book that thing. That would be awesome. That would be amazing. That would be all elite. Did Hogan forget what you say in real life? Did people really think they were going to cheer him? I think people did actually think he was going to get cheered, but I mean, he's said racist things. Like, not even, like, here's the thing, man. Like, people are like, oh, man, he got booed because of MAGA. I heard, like, Eric Bischoff or whatever, like, say, like, oh, he got booed because it's liberal California and he's MAGA. Undertaker is MAGA as fuck, bro. MAGA as fuck. Literally had Donald Trump talking on his podcast about how he thought wrestling was real. And he did not get booed. He got cheered. He got one of the biggest pops of the night. It had nothing to do with MAGA. It had everything to do with racism. That man got booed because people view him as a racist because he said insanely racist things. Like he is terrified at the idea of his family being reincarnated as a black family. Like he said he would have a problem. Like it's just, I'm not going to retread this. Hulk Hogan has said a lot of racist shit. Dog collar match. Why? The love ends with me and you together in a date. In a collar of your own blood. Ooh, that could be a good little thing. If Toni Storm versus Mariah, dog collar match, when you have fans going crazy, especially the boys, take my money, Tony. Honestly, yeah, Tony, make this happen. What do you think of Kenny Omega's new theme and new presentation? I mean, I like the new theme. I would have liked the new theme to be like a New Japan like exclusive thing, or maybe like a big match exclusive thing for Kenny. I don't know how I feel about it being like his weekly theme. I just don't think it hits in the same way that like I don't think it hits the same way as like his actual like regular theme did. You know, the battle cry theme. I hear that battle cry. Are you ready to go? Are you ready? Like that was like that gets people amped up, and I think for an American crowd, you kind of need that. But I mean, look, you get used to it. You get used to it. I think it's still a good theme. Although his cleaner theme. I love his cleaner theme, though. You got Will Chisholm in the chat. The Rock's saying, without saying, guys, I'm not working Mania, so I'm going to babyface myself. I got movies to shoot. Yeah, I mean, the whole, like, WWE thing for The Rock, too, like, people forget is, like, it's been largely a PR, like, thing for him. His reputation in Hollywood was not good, and his reputation was kind of saved. Ooh, I just hit that. But his reputation was in some ways saved by like the return to WWE because people viewed him as a big star, and he got the show on a weekly basis. Like WWE was basically his show. I want to see Mariah May fight Hikaru Shida. That would be an awesome match and a good challenge for Mariah. I think they did that match. I believe so. Honestly, Toni Storm was the best thing when it comes to AEW, especially in the women's division. Like that women's division right now, though, it's like you got Mercedes, Chris Statlander, Jamie Hayter, you know, Mariah May, Toni Storm, like Julia Hart. Like that is like Willow Nightingale. Like come on, like that is an insane women's division right now. Like especially at the top. We're just talking about the top, and then you know Britt Baker. Say what you want about her. When she comes out, people notice. Like it is like they're building up people, and I think they've done a good job building up people. It's just integrating them in the storylines, which is, you know, something AEW struggled with across the board. And just noticed a little bit of dust here. Got to wipe that off. Got to clean. But anyway, and it's something we'll talk about in a second because, as we know, Darby Allin is not going to be a part of things moving forward for AEW, at least for the next couple of months, as he climbs Mount Everest. Dwayne plays the same character in every movie. Yeah, smiling Dwayne Johnson. This is what he is. Like, he's got that Hollywood smile. But let's, you know, I mean, I can talk about the Tony Khan thing real quick. I mean, it's not even a Tony Khan thing as much as it's an AEW thing, which, by the way, might be a good time to take a look at this. Oh, you guys see my bookmarks. All right. So as of right now, I'm just going to set the table for this. As of right now, we're looking at AEW All in Texas. This is according to WrestleTix. This is the map so far. They are set up for 18,000. That has not changed since the last time we looked at this. Tickets distributed right around 10,800. So, around the 11,000 mark. This is up 179 since the last update 7 days ago. Days till show, 181. If you guys want to do some basic estimates, let's just round this up to 200. Assuming they get 200 people a week at minimum buying tickets, they're looking at a crowd of 15,000 for this show, which is not horrible, but definitely not ideal. I think for this show, you want to get to at least 20,000. 20,000 is a very healthy number for AEW to do for this show. And I think they can get there. One of the problems to getting there, though, is you have to build up matches that people not only expect to see, but want to see. And the fact of the matter is, as much as I love Darby Allin, and I appreciate every single thing he does, putting his body on the line for our entertainment, and I appreciate him as a performer. He's one of the best out there right now. The fact of the matter is, him versus Mox is not going to be enough. That cannot be the main event of this show. It should not be allowed to be the main event of the show. We all know what the main event is. We all know what they're thinking. We all know what they're doing. Kenny Okada is your big money match. That is the truth. And the sooner we come to terms with that, the sooner we can move forward with this company, and the vision for it. Right now, I think it's one of those things where I genuinely feel like AEW kind of got lost in the sauce a little bit here, because they started off doing this really cool meta storyline with Moxley, saving AEW, being the poison of AEW. And while I thought originally there was a lot of potential for this, it just seems to be going nowhere. And it's exactly what Frank, in the chat says, been watching AEW in 2019 on Max. It is so different from today. And it is because in 2019, AEW had a vision. Tony Khan had his first 4 AEW world champions mapped out. He knew, 5 AEW world champions, 4 AEW, world champions mapped out. He knew that it was going to be Jericho, Moxley, Kenny Omega, Hangman Page. From the jump, they knew that. They had that vision. They had that story mapped out. And you can do pivots. They did pivots along the way. They changed things around. But at the end of the day, they had a vision that they knew would work. I don't think they have that vision anymore. I don't think AEW is thinking 10 steps ahead as they were back then. And I understand why. You have now in not only, 4 hours of, usually live television to produce with Dynamite and Collision, but you also have ROH to produce. You also have all of your regular stuff, your regular content you have to produce, the promos, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot. And I think above everything, this Death Rider story tells you that there is a lack of vision for what's coming next. If this was the vision from the start, it is not fulfilling the promise of what I think everyone thought it was going to be. Because even if you're going to tell this story of Moxley bringing the best out of people, it has not been hitting. Say what you want about it, it has not been hitting. It's time for a pivot. The fans are not into it. People are complaining about it. People are actively complaining about it. It's not hitting. And one of the biggest problems that I found with this story, Jon Moxley nearly murdered Bryan Danielson on 2 occasions. And he's yet to really explain why. In Moxley's eyes, in his head, why is it worth suffocating Bryan Danielson on multiple occasions? Why is it worth that to save AEW? What does that mean to him? It's just not been hitting. And right now, I think I'm not going to use the term. People are like, God, they need to have a reset, vacate all the titles, all that. I hate that idea. It's such a bad idea. But what they could do, and what they probably should do, is have your next few champions laid out. Because I don't think Darby should be the next champion. I'm sorry. I love Darby to death, and I think he will be a champion one day. And when he does, it is going to mean so much. Because he's like that Mick Foley of AEW. Like not just in that he's like the daredevil, the hardcore guy, and all that kind of stuff. But Darby is like, in many ways, like the heart of AEW. Think about Sami Zayn, 2014 NXT. That's what he represents. His title reign was not like a year long. I think he can be, like that's what he's going to be. And it could develop into something more. And it could develop into something that is bigger. I think his TNT title reign proved that. His TNT title reign was probably just going to be it's going to be like a month, 2 month long thing. Ended up being multiple months, and he was carrying Dynamite on most weeks as far as the in-ring aspect. So he's capable of doing it. I just don't think that is going to be the go-to thing for this show. But if you ask me, you need to have a vision laid out for your main event picture. And we know you have all these main eventers. You have like Hangman Page, Swerve Strickland, all that. Your next few AEW World Champions, in no particular order, probably need to be Kenny Omega. Well, actually, no, that's the order. I mean, that one is in order. But like in no particular order after this, but like Kenny Omega, Will Ospreay, Hangman Adam Page, potentially Swerve Strickland again. That's your next 4, in my view. And if someone else comes up, great. If someone else, is able to make it worthwhile, but a Will Hobbs, a Kyle Fletcher, a Konosuke Takeshita, that is fantastic. But right now, you need to have a clear coded vision that you are missing right now. It is time to pivot from this Moxley stuff. And Jon Moxley, just because his one storyline hasn't hit doesn't mean he's done, doesn't mean he's over the hill, doesn't mean he's cooked. It's just not working. And there's things you can do to pivot this and tweak it and make it make a little bit more sense, but you got to start with something. You got to make a little sense. MJF needs to win again. Jeff Jarrett called him a one-hit wonder. MJF's another guy. Yeah, sure. Put MJF right up there. And that speaks to like how loaded AEW's main event picture is. Like they have you can name probably like 8 guys who like deserve probably a shot at the AEW World Championship just off of what they've done in the last year alone. Bryan Danielson come back to make his... have Bryan come back, cost Mox the belt against Kenny Omega, and then later down the line, Bryan can be like, hey, Kenny, you know you owe me one for that, right? And then you build up a match, the rematch that we've all been waiting for ever since that 30-minute time limit draw, Omega, Bryan, one final time. No time limit, no rules, just action. Tell me when I'm telling lies. I'm just saying. Tell me when I'm telling lies. Like, and you can build towards that. You can build towards it because Bryan's gonna come back. He's not gonna be a full-time guy, but he's gonna come back. He's gonna wrestle a couple of times a year. Make the most of it. If I was booking the show, Hangman would be AEW champion. After that promo, though, I don't know. I think I'm like, so he cut this promo on Collision that was insane, absolutely insane. And I truly believe that, like, that man is probably the best performer in professional wrestling right now. And interpret that however you want. I don't care what y'all have to say. In my view right now, if we're talking about a total performer, Hangman is peak. That promo that he cut on Collision yesterday exemplifies that. It was an insane promo. It was, and you know what? You know why it was insane? Because it mixed his passion, his charisma, and logical storytelling all in one. You understood why Hangman is still evil after that. Because he explained it. He said that the man who allowed, like the Hangman Page, who was like a babyface, who was a good guy, who was happy-go-lucky, who was getting along with everyone, he's the same guy who allowed Swerve Strickland to come into his house, break into his house, and threaten his family. And because of that, because of the love that he has for his family, he will never go back to being that Hangman that he was last year. Amazing. That was amazing stuff. If Hangman goes to WWE, be a bigger star than Cody, yes, 100%. Remember when people thought Shane McMahon was going to be in Moxley? I was one of those people. And here's the thing: don't allude to stuff. Do not allude to stuff because you knew what you were doing. What about Jay White? They've been booking him all right into the main event scene. I think so too. I think one of the issues with Jay White is he's really good. He is really, really good. There's something missing in his booking. I don't know whether it's like a thing about his character. Like, what is the motivation, right? I think it is a character thing. Like, what is the motivation of Jay White? We know what the motivation of Swerve was. That was clearly laid out. We know what the motivation of Kenny Omega is. That was laid out. I think Jay White needs that. Like, what is driving this character Jay White forward? This person Jay White, what's driving him forward? That's what I need. And I think I can get on board with that. And I love Jay White as a performer. Bro main evented like the Madison Square Garden. He's insane. Darby reminds me of Raven in WCW, just more athletic, risk taker, but face Raven was naturally over. Raven everywhere he's been, basically outside of like TNA. They could do a storyline where New Japan guys are rebelling against ELA. I know people don't want to see this. Shout out to Chris Charlton, by the way. I know people don't want to see this. I know people are like complaining about this on the internet. The story going into this Forbidden Door, I think, could be insane if they do like a New Japan versus AEW thing and make it like a real like thing, at least for this 1 year. And I think when AEW guys go over to Japan, they should be heels. And when New Japan guys and like the New Japan guys should be faces, and vice versa. In America, AEW people are all faces, while the New Japan talent are all heels. Make that happen. Like, that could be interesting. And I think this Gabe Kidd, Kenny Omega stuff was proof of that it could work. Because Kenny comes back to AEW, he's a mega face. But over there, he was getting booed. He was leaning into being a heel because he doesn't respect New Japan. And New Japan doesn't respect AEW. There's a story to be told there. Make it happen. Let Gabe Kidd get... And that's how Gabe Kidd should get the win back on Kenny Omega. Let's do it. If Kevin Owens, comes to AEW, are you worried he will be like Miro and Malachi Black? I'm less worried about him being that. I'm more worried about like them getting complacent with him, them being AEW's creative getting complacent with Kevin Owens. Because I mean, we've seen Adam Cole's a different story. Because I feel bad for Adam Cole because the injuries really derailed his run in AEW. And it's unfortunate. Because, like, again, he main evented like the biggest wrestling show of all time. Ticketed, paid, whatever wrestling show of all time. So, I don't think it'll be as bad as Miro or Malachi Black at worst. I think Kevin Owens would come in as one of those guys where they would make sure that he's taken care of. But I also think like he's in negotiations with WWE, if not already signed a contract. I think KO is a WWE lifer. Be shocked if he goes to AEW. I could see him going to AEW. One day. Like maybe not this contract, but like definitely his next contract. I could see him going to AEW. Say what you want, like friendship, money, new horizons. I mean, it can mean a lot to some talent. But yeah, Kevin Owens is a funny one. AJ is the one to keep an eye on for 2025, though, in my opinion. Definitely AJ Styles is one to keep an eye on. Hard reset, brand split for AEW, men's, women's world champion, both shows. Keep the international championship, add women's tag team championship, drop the Continental, TBS, and TNT. I don't think you drop the TBS and TNT. I think those titles, if anything, are going to stick around. I think what they should do and what they could do right now, because they're in the midst of the story, whatever you want to do it, whenever you want to do it, Revolution, whatever. Kenny Omega wins the AEW World Championship, all right? He wins the AEW World title, and one of the ways you can work towards consolidation and also have like an insane build for All In, make it so that at All In, it's Okada, Omega, who is going to be the champion of champions, Continental Champion versus AEW World Championship. You combine those belts, and then the Continental Crown just becomes for the AEW World Championship. Make that a thing. Boom. You make the Continental Crown, the Continental Classic, a bigger tournament to win. And then on top of that, you also make you also consolidate 2 belts. The Continental belt does not need to exist. We all know this. It is essentially it's a belt that Okada can just hold. That's what it is, right? The idea is Okada has a belt. Look how shiny it is. Look how great of a champion he is. He defends it sometimes. I think you need to work on the consolidation of championships. I think stop the integration of ROH titles. We don't need that. Unless you're doing the belt collector gimmick like Mercedes is, don't bring an outside championship onto TV. Because again, or at least don't defend them on TV. We don't need to see that. The fact that Ospreay keeps hitting the Styles Clash is a message, just like he reached out to Ricochet, Ospreay recruiting for TK. I think AJ would come to AEW. Like I definitely think that's a thing. And I expect him at Slammiversary. Like they are gonna need him for Slammiversary because you want to talk about it. We can talk about it, man. We can talk about it. I'll pull it up. TNA UBS Arena. They are gonna need something big because by God, let me tell you, they are not cooking with these ticket sales right now for UBS, and I don't mean to make fun of it. It's just the truth. So this is a count as of just a week ago. This is TNA Slammiversary. It's going to be at the UBS Arena in New York, in Long Island. For those of you who are wondering, for comparison, AEW ran the same arena for Forbidden Door last year, had about 11,000 in the place. Right now, TNA has about 1,600, which is a good showing for them so far. A good advance for them, for sure. But you can see by the map. Like, this is a 20... At max capacity, this is like... For hockey and shit, it's like 20,000 seats. 18 to 20,000 seats. They still have time, but yeah, I mean... If they hit like 6,000 for this, that is a massive W. That is a massive, massive W. I just don't like the idea of them running it when they know they're going to lose some of their biggest stars too. So, I don't know. Hopefully they have something big planned for that. I would expect them to. But they're going to need it is what I'm trying to say. I'm not saying they can't do it. I'm just saying they're going to need it. I don't see Omega Moxley happening at Revolution. It should. If Tony Khan is the man that we all think he is, and he's listening to the fans, he's understands what they want, he's got his finger on the pulse, he will at least know that this Death Rider stuff is not working, and he'll put a stop to it, or he'll pivot and turn it into something else. Because right now it is just not. It's just like, oh, here's Jon Moxley with the AEW World Championship. In many ways, it's very similar to what the Bloodline is doing. Oh yeah, here's the Bloodline. Here's Roman. Here's Diulafala. Tell me when I'm telling lies, people. Hit that like button. Yeah. I don't know. I just really hope they pivot, man. Because that, like, you know what it is? AEW used to give, like, a lot of fans, like, the feeling of excitement of, like, oh my God, here's what could happen next. Here's what could happen next. And right now, I'm, like, looking at, like, the way things are and the direction they're going, and I'm just like, oh man, I don't even care what happens next. But then when I think about like ways they could pivot, that's what gets me excited as a fan. That's when I'm like, pivot, like just pivot. It would help you guys get out of the slump. It would help people get excited about things, and I think it could help freshen things up. If people turn on Max and they see Kenny Omega as the AEW World Champion, it's a different ballgame. Roman said he wants to face Cody again. It will happen. Roman Cody 3 will happen. Now, who wins is up in the air because obviously Roman is Roman. He has a significant amount of influence, right? We all know the alleged story about what happened at Mania at Mania 39. So I mean, who wins? We don't know. But my money would be on Roman. I feel like Jon Moxley is not the same person he came in AEW. He's not. I just like. He's better. He's better than he was in WWE. It's just like this character is just not hitting. This current version of Moxley is just not hitting. Especially the way it was the first time. Like it was just like, it's one thing to do all these heinous things, right? And all this evil shit. You got to explain why you're doing it. And they just never did that. They just never did that. Didn't hope that they brought back, we're talking about TNA again. Didn't hope they brought back Tessa Blanchard. They're making Jordan Grace, who's married. I mean, is what it. That's not touching that. You want my thoughts on Tessa Blanchard? Did a video on youtube.com/WrestleVibes about it. And that's all I got to say about that. Oh, Mike Vrabel got hired as the Patriots coach. Shout out to the Pats. Shout out to my Ravens, by the way, for getting that dub last night. Whoop that Steeler ass. Do you know what the update is on Eddie Kingston? There were some photos online of him training. He's still got like a couple of months, I think, left to go, but he probably expect him in you should expect him in 2025 for sure. Later this year. It's a bad injury, so. But it's good that he's training. It's good that he's working that leg and working and getting back to work. Grade Roman's OTC run so far. Don't. Why are you doing this? Why are you making me? Why are you making me do this? OTC run since SummerSlam till now. It is I'm not gonna give it a grade because I don't want people to get mad about it. But it is the worst thing that he has done since he started the whole tribal chief thing back in, August of 2020. Since in the past like 4 or 5 years, this is the worst thing that Roman's done. Like, this is the worst run. And I'm not talking about from a aura standpoint. He's got all the aura in the world, whatever. From a storyline standpoint, this is like what we don't care about. I mean, I'll say it. I don't think Roman is trying as hard as he was earlier, and that's fine. He doesn't need to. Him just walking out there, looking off into the distance is good enough. And that is fine. That's good enough to meet the needs and requirements of the people who pay. At the end of the day, like, how can you argue against that from a business standpoint? From a storytelling standpoint, I can tell you, storytelling's been absolute. It's been horrible. I mean, Solo as a threat was never going to work. I think, there's things that like Roman would do in his previous matches that like helped tell and elevate the story that he doesn't do now. And it is what it is. The bloodline has fallen off, right? And it was always going to like fall off to an extent because like its peak really was that run from 2022 into 2023. And it was so good. Like, it was so good. And, even the stuff like after Mania, like with Jay, was really good. And unfortunately, I just don't think it's not that this doesn't hold a candle, because that's like some of the best stuff that WWE's ever done. But this just like, it just like they've not been telling a story. Roman is here. So is Solo. I want it all. That's it. And that's fine. It's gotten him this far. I'm not going to argue with the aura or anything like that. He has all the aura. I just do think that there's like a bit of, all he needs to do. to get a reaction is just show up and go through the motions. It does feel like there's a bit of going through the motions. And I think Roman is like capable of like so much more. I want to say that. And he's a fantastic performer, one of the best. But the storytelling has just not been there since he returned. It's just been moments, and moments are good enough. In WWE in 2024, 2025, moments are good enough. But there's no logic to this. The Roman Reigns character, though, is I don't even know what they're doing with it. The character that for the past like 4 years was like this abusive cousin, the abusive elder, like he had everyone under the grip of his thumb and all that kind of stuff. And then they all like leave him, which was amazing, and they all broke free of Roman's control. As soon as Roman returns, they all come back, and Roman is the same guy. Like, he's not shown any sort of remorse. He's not said he's sorry. He's not done anything. He's just like, acknowledge me. And they all acknowledged him. And it's like, again, stuff like that is like, it makes me say like, oh man, you're making me, you're punishing me for paying attention. Never took Solo seriously. Yeah. I mean, they should have just had Jacob be the guy. Jacob should have turned on Solo. Solo should have been a usurper. And, you know, Solo is worse off. I don't care what people say. Solo is worse off because he got overexposed for the past year. And I am not saying that, like, he shouldn't have been in, like, in the main event picture or anything like that. But he got overexposed. He got pushed way too fast. And a lot of people just kind of view Solo as a joke. The best thing about Solo right now, I love you, Solo. And that's Jacob's catchphrase. Jacob will be the leader, and he's going to be a hell of a leader. Because he knows how to work, and he knows how to cut a great promo. I think Roman really believed that Solo was the next guy, but WWE's like Jacob and the real guy. Yeah. Jacob is just better. That's no knock on Solo. Solo still has so much potential. He's young. He's in his mid-20s. He's so young. And he's got all the room in the world, all the potential in the world to grow. He's just got to get there. And it will take time. It will certainly take time. Someone asked, 5-star asked, Bloodline story end this year? That thing is not ending for like 10 years, bro. The amount of family they got coming in. They got Zilla Fatu, who's like 19 years old, working in a reality of wrestling. Shout out to Justin Fatu, Philadelphia native Justin Fatu, who we met at Mania. It's a never-ending revolving door of Fatus and like the Tongans too, like Tama Tonga and Tongaloa. Like, I got family too. Meng or Haku, whatever you want to call him. He was out there, man. Anyway, so most of WWE not ready, could be overexposed, especially WWE's women's roster. I think WWE's women's roster, I mean, if you look at it, like, the women in NXT are cooking, though. And I wouldn't say they're overexposed. Like, Roxanne, Cora Jade, Julia, Stephanie Vaquer, all of them are cooking right now. And I wouldn't say they're overexposed. I say they're the right amount of exposed. They're being used correctly. A lot of it is how you're used. You got true. So you don't do. I already explained that. I just didn't have the time. Shout out to the boys. I literally talk to them every day. They're like my best friends. Yeah. So Solo, but anyway, I do love. I want that I love you Solo shirt though. If they sell that, I would love that. I love you Solo shirt. Guys, there's like 20 whatever of you guys are watching right now, maybe 30 of you, something like that. Be sure to hit that like button if you haven't already done so. It really helps the channel grow. Sorry, new here. No. I wasn't. No. That wasn't the shout. That was just me. Is that Tupac and Nipsey? I think it is. That's a dope profile picture. No. I just don't want it to become a thing or anything. I love the boys so much. I just could not commit to the time that I needed to, and I didn't want to commit to anything I know what's going to do. Roman versus Gunther for SummerSlam. Yeah, sure. That could cook. Yeah, I did see this story about Melina. I I hope that the story is mistaken and she's okay. But yeah, no, praying for her and everyone out there. It's horrible what's happening in LA right now, and hopefully she's okay and she's alive and well and all that. But yeah, no, that the entire wildfire thing. I know people in LA who like their homes are just gone, and yeah, man, it's horrible stuff happening there. Horrible stuff happening all around the world. Like it is, it's stuff like that that reminds you that like outside of wrestling at the end of the day and then football, all this kind of stuff is like a distraction from some of the horrors that are happening. But praying for her, praying for everyone, thoughts, love, everything to the people out in LA. I need Kenny to act like the final boss backstage. Like, I'm the guy. I want the belt. Now just throw me in all. I mean, he should. He should. Who you got in the Rumble this year? My heart. Okay, my heart says Cena. My heart says Cena. My brain says Punk for the men's, and then for the women's. God, for the women's, my heart says Bianca. But my little brain says Charlotte Flair. I hope to God it's not Charlotte Flair. Shout out to Charlotte. Hopefully she returns and she does well. But she does not need another Royal Rumble win right now. The promo would be like, oh, hey man, come on. The promo would be what it would. Like, I will say this, man. Paul Heyman would cook. You got to give it up to Paulie. He would cook, but I don't know, man. Like maybe they do. Maybe Gunther gets like his little crew together. I will say, I think they're building up Ludwig Kaiser to be like a challenger for Gunther eventually. Okay, like they're cooking something up there. Charlotte. I love Charlotte. Hopefully she comes back healthy and well, and she's a great performer. I don't know why, but like for me, she's like one of the wrestlers who I've always appreciated a lot, but never personally was like so invested in was like Randy Orton. And I understand Randy is like probably the most like effortless, like he's like one of the most effortless looking like workers ever. But by God, I was not about his like those like 30-minute long Randy Orton promos to open Raw. I was not about those. I feel the exact same way about Charlotte. I think she's an impeccable performer, Hall of Fame level talent, everything. Even though she probably was not for me, just like Randy was not for me, I appreciate and I see everything she's done. It's just not what I care about. Is MJF a one-hit wonder? No. He's one of the best. He's one of the best. It's just a matter of him being consistently on TV and in shit that you care about. The last time MJF was in something we all kind of cared about was like the Will Ospreay stuff. So, yeah. Remember when Triple H broke into Randy's home and thought I thought that was real. I was old enough at that point. I was like, ain't no way this is real. I was like, I was like growing out of the wrestling is a real thing. But I truly did used to believe that the Undertaker was like a demon. When I was a kid, I was like, oh no, this is hell. You got Stephanie B in the chat saying Triple H is booking like main or is booking the main, like his Black and Gold NXT, and it's an issue I had then. and now it's difficult watching. I will say his NXT takeovers are way better back then. The PLEs were. I would say if you were to take a current day WWE PLE and compare it to an NXT takeover, the NXT takeover probably is better as an overall viewing experience. I think there is definitely exceptions to that, because like there's just some matches that they put on like have been great, but overall, like, yeah, NXT, like, I don't even think like the problem is like that. I think it's just WWE. I think what's happening is like Triple H is becoming a bit. I think WWE as a whole is becoming a bit complacent. Like, they're just like, we know that we can save everything or a lot of it for like the lead up to Mania, and then sprinkle in some goodness and not have to work as hard. And I'm not saying in the ring. Take the ring out of it. I'm talking about from a booking standpoint. They don't have to do as much to be as big as they are. And eventually, I'm telling you this, with the way that they are pricing people out of their events, I think eventually it's going to, not the pendulum swinging back around or whatever, but I think they're going to be forced to lower their ticket prices eventually, because you can only be as hot as they are for so long. Not a fan of the black matte canvas, though. All I could see was not a fan of... Jesus. Glad it said matte. Hey, yo. No, no Hogan, bro. No Hogan. No Hogan. Hulk Hogan. Could you imagine Hulk Hogan's like, I'm not going... Yo, is that you tell me maybe that's why Hogan didn't go out to the ring to cut that promo and he stayed up on the stage? Brother. Jesus Christ. That's crazy. No. No. I think it's fine. I like the white ropes with the black canvas. Yeah. Wrestling. I saw your comment. I already addressed the Melina stuff. I hope that she's okay, and I hope everyone out in LA is okay. Jey Uso should win the Rumble or King of the Ring because his IC title reign was just a plot device to bring him back to the bloodline, and not a good one at that. Yeah. Roman, Drew, Punk, Seth will get the best promo for Gunther. Probably. They should give Shawn Michaels a shot at booking the main roster. He is doing fantastic in NXT. No, don't ruin NXT on account of the main roster being shit. No. Let him cook down there. Let him cook. Ethan Page lost his smile. I mean, he lost a lot of things. Bro got like patted on the bum by The Rock on NXT. The Rock that was a crash out if I've ever seen one. So apparently the story is, again, rumor and innuendo. So take this with a grain of salt. But the rumor and innuendo is like he had to apologize for that drunk promo he had on Raw or on NXT because he was hammered when he cut that promo. Absolutely gone when he cut that promo on NXT. And you could tell, like, how much time do I got? 5 minutes? Yes, some more. Look at that cameraman. Look at me. Like, he was his way through that entire promo. Homie was cooked. And it was a bad promo, but if you watch that promo, knowing that man is cooked, it's 5 stars in the Tokyo Dome. Hi, Real Take Wrestling. I hope you are doing well, man, as well as your health, and same with everybody here in the live chat on Sunday afternoon. Same to you, Muhammad. Hopefully you're doing well. Hopefully everyone's out there doing well, staying safe, staying healthy, staying alive. Ha, 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 ha. Gunther sucks. Vince had it right because a lot of people he fired. No, Gunther does not suck. We need to stop this. The booking might not be it right now, but Gunther does not suck. I think Gunther's fine. I think Gunther is fine. I think, it's one of those things where they just don't have workers for him right now. And he is someone who does well with these workers. I thought the match he had with Damian Priest at, SummerSlam when he won the belt, was one of the best matches of the year for WWE. I think he just needs to be in there with a worker. Ethan is going to the main roster soon. I think he'll get one more NXT championship before he goes up to the main roster. I don't think he's going there just yet. I think he's going to be one of those guys who's he's going to stick around in NXT for a little bit. I also don't know what would he do in the Okay, all right. I'm just going to shout out to Fightful Wrestling because I had them open on Twitter. They just shared this. So apparently there's some sort of attack, the police officers, wherever the hell this is, crash out like crazy. That's insane. He literally did a head scissor on that man. That's why, in case y'all are wondering, this is what distracted me. I was like, what the hell? He just did a whole ass head scissor. That's crazy. Look at him. My man didn't even see it. Ah, got him. You're under arrest. Hey, yo, that's wild. Oh my God. He really said you're under arrest one way or another. Anyway. I don't know what just happened. Ethan needs to face CM Punk before CM Punk retires for good. I think you got a couple of years before Punk retires. I think that match will probably happen. I forgot that Samoa Joe was AEW World Champion. It's because he has not been on TV. My man's been doing his thing. I think he's filming that movie or whatever, that horror movie. Stephanie says that's a movie. Wait, what? It's a movie? Oh, I was really hoping that was real life. My boy just did a head scissors. He was like, nah, you're under arrest. That'd be crazy. Trick Williams and Roxanne Perez will be on the main roster soon. Definitely. I could see them. I think in the lead up to Mania, Roxanne should definitely go up to the main roster. Roxanne could win the Rumble. Or Roxanne should be a choice to win the Rumble. Definitely. Samoa Joe is in the Pirate Yakuza video game. I have no idea about that. Thank you, Leo, for letting me know. Big fan. Will we ever see Wardlow versus Mid again? Oh, MJF. I think there's a better chance of Wardlow joining up with MJF again than those two having a feud. Yeah, I mean, Wardlow's there. He's there. All I'm going to say, he's there. Trick and Roxanne will suffer on the main roster too. I think Roxanne is definitely one of those people. I think she can overcome bad booking. I just don't know. I just don't know what it's gonna be. Trick can too. I think you cannot. It'd be hard to mess up Roxanne and Trick. It would take work. It would take work. Wardlow should leave AEW ASAP. I think a lot of people. I think the rosters. I think there's people in WWE and AEW who need to maybe mix up. And that's not saying people need to be fired. I don't want people to be fired or whatever. Unless they want out of their contracts. But I do think that there's a lot of people who are on both rosters who are just not being used. Ricky versus MJF ever happened in AEW? I don't think so. I don't think Ricky's going to be back in AEW. I mean, at least that's what it seems like. TK just in AEW, just whatever. Roxanne will be in a tag team with Bird Girl. Wait, who's Bird Girl? Trick will be with Mello. Yo, running back Trick and Mello. I mean, stop. That sounds too. I mean, I don't know who Bird Girl is, but that last part sounds way too real. I could very well see them being like, yeah, Trick and yeah, all right, we're a global brand. All right, Trick, we're a global brand, and part of being a global brand means you do things that are kind of shit sometimes. So you're gonna go and you're gonna team up with Mello. But I already did that. It doesn't matter. What happened in NXT doesn't matter. What happens this week doesn't matter for next week. It's all about the game. Could you imagine the pep talk that he would have to give? It's like, I don't know. Whatever. I think Melo, what they've done with Melo is crazy. Penta will be in the LW. I think Penta in the LWO could work if if the match is Ray versus Penta at Mania, and Penta he revolts, leads a revolt in the LWO against Ray, and the LWO is like his, bad guy faction. I don't need firing. Do what Japan does. Have excursions and draft. Yes. I would love for companies to have excursions. AEW does do those. WWE is starting to do that for specific talent. Like Nakamura has done it a few times. Io Sky did it once. As well as AJ Styles. Omos is on an excursion right now, and he's killing it in Noah. The presentation, everything just seems bigger. It's clicking in Noah in a way it did not in WWE. What happened to Jade Cargill? It seems like she's on vacation. Maybe we'll find out who attacked her. Do you think Wardlow returns to AEW? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. Maybe. I hope so. I don't want him to just go away. Bird Girl is Lyra. Oh, that makes sense. Lyra versus they would cook. I would do man. Dakota Kai versus Roxanne for the Intercontinental Championship. Book that. That's a cook right there. Omos is built for Japan. He'd be in the I don't think he's gonna be in the G1. Well, no, he wouldn't be in the G1 because he's in Noah right now. And G1 is New Japan, and New Japan and WWE do not have a working relationship as of right now. Who knows what they might have later on. But yeah, I don't know anything. I'm just talking. Pick one from NXT women's roster to be in AEW. Stephanie Baker. She would. I'm just gonna say, Stephanie made the right decision, because she got offered I assume a big contract to go to WWE, and so shout out to her. But I would love to see her in AEW because that match that she had with Mercedes, looking back, I know I did my list of top 10 matches this year. I probably would have replaced my number 10. Which, oh my God, that would have made so many people mad. But I don't care. But looking back, I would have replaced my number 10 match with Stephanie Valkyria versus Mercedes at Forbidden Door. I was there live, and that was an insane match. What do you think about Chris Charlton's comments? I think, look, New Japan, I understand why they're angry because, again, the culture is different. Especially when in terms of business over there. So they do not want to upset their business partners in that sense. I get why they're upset. I think there's a lot of people who are overblowing this, though. I just don't. I think it helped the match. I think his comments helped build the match into something that you should care about more. That's just my thoughts. What are your thoughts on the failure of the Wide Six? I don't think they failed. I just they're just not doing much. And maybe that's, who knows? Maybe that's a sign, but we'll see. Trick and Mello and WWE Tag Team Champions as a heel. Sure, why not? Run it back again. What do you want the main event for Mania Night 1 and Night 2? I mean, it doesn't matter what I want, right? It's what's going to happen. It's going to be CM Punk versus Roman Night 1. Cody versus Cena Night 2, unless something changes and The Rock says, I want to be at Mania. I mean, in a perfect world, I would do Cody versus Cena at Night 2 still. Or not, I mean, whatever, interchangeable, I don't care. Cody versus Cena. And then, again, is what I want, right? I would do Bianca Rhea for whatever the other night is. Because I think that's a match that needs to happen. Who takes the world championship off Cody Rhodes if Cena doesn't win? If Cena doesn't win, Randy Orton. And then Randy should be the heel, master to Cody's pupil. And then Cody should win it back a month or two later. I think a good little story with them, with Randy beating Cody would be cool. Like, no, Stephanie stays in WWE. Nah. If I'm TK and I get a draft pick from NXT, I'm picking Stephanie Becker for multiple reasons. Out of sheer pettiness on one hand, because we know that in wrestling you got to be a little bit petty. Got to be a little bit petty to make it. You think we do Becky versus Roxanne at night 2 of SummerSlam? That could be a good match. That could be a cook. What's your tag team of 2024? Definitely not the Young Bucks. I love the Young Bucks, but they did not cook in 2024. I don't know. I'm past looking at 2024. I'm looking towards 2025. Let's see. God. I'm trying to think on the spot right now. I don't know. Ask me later. I'll have an answer later. I personally think Chris's comments were stupid. There are 9,999 more ways of building a match. Shit talking AEW and kayfabe without comments like those. I also don't think his comments were too far. Again, and I'm a mark online. I get it, whatever. But I think it helped the match. I also think he's not doing anything that Gabe Kidd didn't do in the New Japan produced promo that played right before the match. Gabe Kidd said literally almost the same shit. Now, did Chris take it a little further? Yeah. But again, it is what it is. In a vacuum, I think it helped the match, but it is what it is. Why do they keep doing the Street Profits like this? Stephanie, I will have you know, they're not doing the Street Profits like anything. Because they're just not doing the Street Profits. Like Montez Ford is just coming out there with Angela Dawkins every now and then. Like, hey guys, look at us. Look at this pizza that we're promoting for this PLE. It's like they should have done the turn years ago. Montez Ford at one point I thought was going to be like a main event guy in WWE. It never happened. It never materialized. And there's a lot of reasons why. A lot of it is on WWE. But yeah. 1 to 5, what did you give Gabe versus Omega? 5 stars. Fantastic. Best match of the year so far. It is going to be hard for a match to beat that. There are some matches that are coming up that I think have the potential to do that. Omega Okada, because here's the thing. You say what you want about Okada's AEW run. When Okada tries, oh my goodness, y'all ain't ready for that. Or yeah, 10. I honestly think putting Trick on the same roster as Melo could work if there's a lot of history there and the heel attitude that Melo has currently. Imagine if Trick wins a singles belt before him. That could be good. If they tell that story, I'm down for it. I just do not have the confidence in them telling that story. 2024 was a bad year for tag team and trios wrestling. Yep. MJF called Tony Khan and Mark doesn't get fired. I mean, that was also like a produced promo. Like Chris's comments were coming from I understand why people are angry. I just don't think I think people took it a little too far. I think Tony Schiavone, excuse me, his comments. I understand why he's mad, and I like Tony Schiavone. I think I respect the hell out of him and his opinion. I would not have, if being in his position, I would not have said what he said either about that whole thing. Swerve versus... Keep cooking, Johnny. Keep cooking. Swerve versus Omega would be an insane match. I didn't even see that. That's like one of those things where it's right there. I didn't even think about it. Could you imagine Swerve coming out there? Yo, the aura off between Swerve and Kenny would be crazy. By God. By God. Guys, I'm wrapping up in about 5 minutes. Got 5 more minutes of this. You guys want to get your chats in, get them in. Be sure to leave a thumbs up if you haven't already. It really helps the channel grow. Consider becoming a channel member. Leave a super chat to guarantee your question or statement gets time. Tony's comments came from him being dad to the company for the most part. I get that. Swerve versus Omega will be on the most random. No, no, build this up. Tony Khan, build this up, damn it. Build this up. Can tag team wrestling be great in 2025? Not WrestleMania main event level, but more PLE and pay-per-view. Yeah, it should be. I hope it does. 2023 was really like the peak of tag team wrestling. It main evented WrestleMania. A tag team match that deserved to main event Mania for the tag team titles main evented WrestleMania. And you could argue that there's other tag teams that could do the same. I think, for AEW, that the first main event tag team match will probably actually no, they already had the first main event tag team match. They had that for Revolution. Yeah, what am I talking about? Revolution. AEW Revolution earlier this year. Or in 2024, excuse me. Main evented by Sting's last match, which was a tag team match for the tag team titles. That was probably, you know what? My tag team of the year officially, Darby and Sting, undefeated, crowned, had one of the best matches of the year, one of the best moments of the year. Shout out to them. Shout out to the best tag teams. They only wrestled 5 matches together in 2024, but damn it, that's my team. I don't want Swerve to keep eating people's blood. I want that practice to end. He's not eating people's blood. He's just bleeding. That's different. Hangman ate someone's... Well, Hangman did a spit take of blood, which was crazy, but I don't think you'll see that again. Are you hyped for Hangman versus Daniels? Okay, here's the thing about Hangman Page. I love that man. But one of the downsides of him being a great performer and being able to cut an all-time promo whenever he wants is the fact that he can make me care about shit like this that I have no damn right caring about. I did not, until I watched Collision, I was not a fan of the direction they were going with the Daniel stuff. Then Hangman cut this promo, and I was like, all right, well, now I'm going to watch, and it's going to cook, because I forgot. It's Hangman Page. In there with Christopher Daniels, who's great, but it's Hangman fucking Page. Come on, he's the best. If people really want to... Oh, sorry. I'm cooked, guys. If people really want to know what being a joke is for Okada, go see his TNA gimmick being... Ooh. It's a bit of a... Yeah. Oh, God. Green Hornet Okada was not good, people. Let me tell you. Oh, you just... Oof. Yeah. That along with, TNA booking Tanahashi as a rookie, mark. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why TNA and New Japan did not work together, because New Japan did not want anything to do with TNA for the longest time. A Boogie, I subscribed, I liked, turned notifications on. Thank you so much. Appreciate you. Bring back Greenhorn. You know what I want? I want someone to hint towards that in a promo, and Okada just loses his mind and starts to destroy them. That should be a thing, because he hates that gimmick. Hangman versus Will would be amazing. Will Hobbs? Book it. Who should win if Kyle faces Kenny? Oh, Kenny. At first, Kenny. Who should dethrone Mariah and Monet for the belts? Mariah, it should be Toni Storm. And then Mercedes, Willow. Ironically, both the women that beat them. So, yeah. Kenny and Hangman versus Young Bucks 2020 was one of the best tag team matches of all time. Yep. Revolution 2020. I got to go watch. It's not on Max, damn it. Kyle Fletcher versus Omega. Keep cooking, people. Hangman versus Will Ospreay. See, that's what I was saying, man. AEW has one of the best rosters of all time, and there's that booking. I've said enough. I've said enough. I've done enough, and so have all of you. I appreciate it, all of y'all. Leo Relic, Johnny, Mario, everyone. Wall Street Money. Frank popped in. Danny. Stephanie, too many of y'all to name. I appreciate all of y'all. 2025, the agenda is make professional wrestling as good as we deserve it to be, and that is hot fire. Let's make sure it happens. Let's make sure that professional wrestling is amazing. Tell people what you want to see. Let them know what you think. And pray to God that they pivot. That's my goal for 2025. And let's enjoy things along the way. Because there's a lot of stuff to enjoy. There's a lot of cooking that's happening. Just like over here. YouTube.com/Real Take Wrestling. Guys, be sure to leave a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. I'm coming at you every single day with all of the wrestling news you need to know. Every week, right here, live, 11 a.m. Eastern, for Wrestling with Omer, this show where I just go berserk about wrestling, give you my unfiltered takes. We got a lot of stuff in the works in the lead up to Mania. I'll let you know when all that stuff works out. But I appreciate all of y'all. Until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.